Hello, everybody. Welcome to DC Time. I'm Dean.
I'm Chris.
Thanks so much for joining us. Glad to get together again. We're having some minor technical difficulties. Chris had some wonderful things pulled up on his computer, and now it's crashed or something. He's not able to access that. That's fine. We're going to move right on. We're rolling here. I'll read from Ephesians again. This is from Chris brought this article from The Unsearchable Riches, and it's by A. Enoch, and he's there's a section here that we've been going over the last couple of weeks, so we're going to continue on. All right, this starting out here in Ephesians 3, Paul, a prayer again here to the Father, that he may be giving you in accord with the riches of his glory to be made staunch with power through his Spirit, like that. We're going to be talking about the Spirit a little bit.
Right.
So I backed up there to read that. Through his Spirit in the man within, Christ to dwell in your hearts through faith, that you, having been rooted and grounded in love, should be strong to grasp together with all the saints what is the breadth and length and depth and height, to know the love of Christ as well, which transcends knowledge.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll just stop right there. And this article is breaking down the breadth, the depth, the height, the length. So
The dimensions of the secret.
Yeah.
When we looked up in the concordant commentary by Knock, when you got to those verses, they just called it the dimensions of the secret. The length, the height, the breadth, and the depth. You know, and that's kind of interesting. That's all he wrote down was the dimensions of the secret.
That's cool.
You know,
It is.
and then there was another part we liked up there. You'll hunt it up and maybe add it to the video. But there was a section in there talking about this was not for our service; it was for realization. You know, so that was really cool. What I liked about this particular dimension was he gives, this is called the depth. This is where we're at. This is the particular dimension that Knock is pointing to. And he's saying that the Ephesian secret not only has the greatest sweep of any of God's administrations, but it digs down into the very dregs of human depravity and soars to the highest heavens. Israel had promises and privileges which raised them above the balance of mankind, and the Gentiles were below them, far from God, sunk in sin, ignorant and alienated, deserving only death. Further, he goes on to say that never in the story of this somber scene had come a time so dark and dismal as the days that followed Paul's final visit to Jerusalem and his imprisonment in Rome. The Jews will not have a Messiah, neither will they allow the other nations any place. Paul is a prisoner. Every avenue of blessing seems effectually choked out. Everything is ripe for judgment, so it seemed. Now I read that and I thought, okay, this is a repeat performance by God. It sounds like the cross. The disciples are scattered. The Messiah has come in, certainly not setting up a kingdom. He's hanging on a pole. I mean, all is lost. You know, everybody thought it was going to be this triumphant thing. And here, I mean, Peter has denied knowing him. It couldn't, what happened? Well, we know what happened. Salvation was accomplished for all mankind. That's the last thing Christ says on the cross. It is accomplished.
Yeah, his job was finished right then. That what he was going through.
Yeah.
And then what that sets up, that's what we're reading from Paul. What we try to gather little glimpses and little tidbits of truth here.
Yeah.
Because it sets up this glory and this transformation for all God's creation. That's we can't even understand.
Right.
Can't understand. It's why I like through his Spirit, all these things, all these, when we're talking about divine love of the Father, of the Creator for his creation, it's hard for us to even, we can't understand that without Spirit. And so we're just getting glimpses of that now.
Right. Right.
It seems, I mean, so many people live with what, I mean, Chris's words there talking about the scene of the cross and yeah, how it does get so confusing at times here along God's path, his story, and how it looks like all hope is gone. What happened, like you said here, the kingdom's not coming, they've lost their Messiah, they don't have a Messiah.
Right.
But just what about today? What about our daily lives and how people live? It's so many times it seems like all is lost, all is hopeless.
Yep.
It's a mess right here. But hopefully you can get encouragement in Paul's letters here, especially.
Yeah.
The Apostle Paul, that not all is lost. It's a plan, and through his Spirit, hopefully you can get a little encouragement to know that everything's going along just according to plan.
Right. And Paul says, or excuse me, Knox says here that with a spiritual convulsion as great as the material cataclysm which ends Yahweh's day, a place is prepared for a new creation. This is the new humanity. This is a new administration, never heard of, hidden in God. It's going to have its own work. It's going to have a destiny in the celestials.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, it's a transformation. That's why
Yes.
I like using that word now and thinking of it in those terms. Instead of just like maybe a resurrection or something, it's like, well, think of glory and transformation, what we're going to become, what God has set up for us. It's incredible. Some of these words you read here in Paul's letters, they're like, well, can I really believe this? Is this possible for me to believe? Because it's so out there and it's so grand.
Yeah. And the part about that I've learned and I can appreciate, even here we were talking about the things we have coming up in the next week or so. Christmas is next week. And we live lives with family and friends all around us. And you're caught up in everything that Christmas brings along, but yet I have this peace on the inside of me. You know, I think of that. We talked about Luke 2 and that those angels that came down, legions of angels. And they're telling those celestials, hey, things are not going to continue as they are. It's about to change. I think of this season as a proclamation season that things are going to change. It excites me.
Yeah.
And even though we're in the chaotic season that we're in, it's cool that Father has opened my eyes to some of these things. And even when all the chaos about me is going on, I can have a moment inside that, you know, I can thank Father for, and the realization that he's allowed me to have. And the little pits, and you just said, you know, that patience that has come along. One of the videos I watched this week, Clyde says, truth changes us. Gosh, what a great 3 words. It does change us.
Yeah,
It's been changing me for over, at least over 2.5 decades now, pursuing this. You know, and it is changing us. And it's wonderful.
I like,
So
there again, that's spirit to me.
yeah, it is
does
spirit.
that.
Yeah, you're right.
And it takes that it takes that spirit to change us, I believe. So Romans 8, I'll start here in 38. For I am persuaded that neither death nor life, nor messengers, nor sovereignties, nor the present, nor which is impending, nor powers, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creation will be able to separate us from the love of God. It's a different take there, but that's just a love thing.
Yeah, I
So
love
right there, you could just think on that at any time or all the time, that nothing is going to separate us from the Father's love. He loves his creation. And I know it looks like a mess. I get that. And we're not, and people don't feel that, but they will. He's got a plan for them, so that comforts us. All right, another one was here in
2 Corinthians, or 1 Corinthians 2:10.
all right. Yet to us God reveals them through his Spirit. For the Spirit is searching all, even the depths of God.
The depths of God. Yeah. And that's
This
the
is-
spirit you're talking
yeah.
about. That's cool.
Yeah, before that it said, but according as it is written, that which the eye did not perceive, and the ear did not hear, and to which the heart of man did not ascend, whatever God makes ready for those who are loving him, yet to us God reveals them through his Spirit. For the Spirit is searching all, even the depths of God.
And that's very prophetic. That is said in the Old Testament, that even though they have ears, they won't hear. Even though they have eyes, they won't see. You can go back into the Gospels and find the scripture that being told to the disciples. That's where he's telling them, why are you telling parables? And Jesus tells them that to you it's been given through the Spirit. It's been given you to understand these things. It's not for them to understand right now. So that the words of the prophets would be true, that even though they have ears, they don't hear. Even though they have eyes, they don't see. It comes from Spirit.
That's so good. Hopefully we can always keep that
Yeah.
in our minds, renew our minds to that, know that, because it takes edge off. It takes a little bit, you can see yourself and see others in a different light.
Right.
Because to really, truly know anything about this love, it comes through Spirit. It doesn't come through what we do or how we study something or what we might believe or about a particular thing or our perspective on all those things. That nothing wrong with any of these things. It's you, it's me, it's how we go about this life. But to really hone in on what, Chris just said there. Right?
Well, that's
and to
cool.
Think of the Spirit
That's
doing it.
That's the Israel message. That's the administration that was involving Israel and its expectation. And it wasn't hidden in God. It was not a secret. It was out there. The dimensions of this secret, this is all new stuff. This is hidden in God. You can't go back and find prophecy about this stuff. That's cool. So we hope that encourages you today. We have enjoyed this. I think we've got one more. We're going to touch on the height, the last dimension that Knock brings up in the dimensions of the secret, and that'll be the next one when we get a chance. Next week's going to be a little crazy, so it may not be this. It may be something else. It'll be whatever we work out. But we do want to see if we can put something out there next week. We may have to wait another week for us to finish this up, but we'll try and get something out. All right, it's going to be crazy.
Yep. You all have a good week, and we'll see you next time.
Love you.